together voices from both sides of the border. Indigenous stewards of Peyote from the United States and Mexico, to listen, to learn, and to witness their stories and wisdom. Peyote is not just a plant, it's a sacrament, a teacher, a protector, and the heart of ceremonial life for many indigenous peoples. But today, its sacred habitat is threatened from extractive industries for many indigenous people to over-harvesting and legal restrictions. The Wirikuta Desert in Mexico and the Peyote Gardens of Texas are both under strain, and with them, the traditions, sovereignty, and rights of the people who care and commune with this medicine. So, we are joined today by 4 extraordinary speakers. Jake Singer, a traditional Navajo medicine man, a Vietnam veteran who will share the role of Peyote in Native American church and Navajo traditions. We also have Alfredo Carrillo, who is a traditional Wixárika bundle carrier, and he is a commissioner for his tribe. They will each speak for half an hour. With them, we also have Matthew Schroeder, who's the son of Jake Singer, and he's also the director of For Goodness Sake. He's a designer of the preservation of Peyote together with the Wixárika. We also have Santiago and Alonso, who's also helping with the translation today. Thank you so much, Santiago. He's also the director of Wirikuta Preservation Project, and we'll hear from all of them later in our Q&A. I'm going to invite Alfredo to start his presentation.
Kiaku, United Ibamarile, muy buenos días a todos y a todas. Alfredo Carrillo, autoridad Wixárika de la comunidad de San Andrés Coamiata en Mezquití, Jalisco, México.
Hello everybody, my name is Alfredo Carrillo and I am the communal authority of the tribe of San Andrés Coamiata located in Jalisco, Mezquitic, México.
Agradecer a la universidad y a los organizadores por la oportunidad que nos dan de intercambiar, un poco platicar lo que es el pueblo Wixárika en pleno 2025. Han cambiado muchas cosas desde tiempos inmemoriales de nuestro pueblo ancestral, pero hoy en día estamos con el compromiso y la firme convicción de seguir luchando por lo que somos y sobre todo por los lugares sagrados del pueblo Wixárika.
I want to thank to all the organizers of the event that give us this space to talk and share about the Wixárika nation and how we're living on 2025 with the conviction that we still want to protect our sacred sites and our way of life.
Quisiera comentarles que para nosotros el calendario espiritual, el calendario de festividades, todo está conectado con la naturaleza. Principalmente nos consideramos los hijos del maíz, de 5 colores, el azul, el amarillo, el blanco, el morado y el pinto. Así también somos hijos del jicuri, de la medicina, porque también es una representación que tiene muy en conexión con el maíz y con Tamachcoyumarie, el venado cola blanca, que es el guía espiritual de nuestro pueblo, que es el pueblo Wixárika.
I want to share with the relatives here that our ceremonial cycle, it goes all with nature. We consider ourselves the children of the corn, of the 5-color corn, the blue corn, the purple corn, the red corn, the white corn, and the spotted corn. And we are also the children of the white-tailed deer and the medicine of hickory, peyote. And we have a relationship with these three, and our ceremonial calendar is connected to these three.
Desde el nacimiento de cualquier pequeño, a los 5 días se le realiza una ceremonia de presentación a los diferentes lugares sagrados con el agua que traemos de Wirikuta, de Urramanacá, Rapa Villeme, Aramara, de los diferentes puntos. Ahí es el momento donde el niño o la niña recibe su nombre en Wixárika, que se traduce a través del sueño de los maracate.
Since when a kid is born, it has a process already with the ceremonies. So we wait 5 days to give him, to baptize them. And we bring waters from the 4 corners, our sacred sites, and from other sites in the center. And at the 5th day, the elders dream his name. And in the 5th day, they baptize him with these waters.
Y en la próxima peregrinación a Wirikuta, el matsuba del niño o de la niña se lleva a Wirikuta, el cual allá es bendecido y presentado para que nuestros ancestros lo conozcan y lo protejan, y en lo posterior pues tengan una buena salud y un buen futuro.
So the next process is that for 5 years the parents bring the bracelet of the kid to Wirikuta, to the Peyote gardens for 5 years, so the kid gets blessed and has protection and a good way of life, a path to follow.
Tenemos memoria de nuestros abuelos, nuestros ancestros, que antes de la conquista, nosotros como pueblo originario ya realizábamos la peregrinación a Wirikuta, aunque después se complicó porque las religiones, como son los franciscanos, los jesuitas, los agustinos, interfirieron con las familias para que este tipo de ceremonias, de peregrinaciones, sobre todo el uso de la medicina de hickory, se dejara de hacer por cuestiones, por intereses de las mismas religiones.
Our sacred pilgrimage to the Peyote gardens, our elders tell us, is since the beginning of time, since the world was created. And the times of the conquest is when we first experienced difficulties doing our ceremonies. In around 1621, the church, through different priests, they made an article saying that it was for witchcraft and it was for guessing things, so for superstition things. So peyote became illegal, being one of the first plants in the planet to become illegal. And from there, pues it was for the interest of the church, so they could turn us into their religion.
Entonces, a partir de esa conquista que intentaron las religiones, se intenta estigmatizar nuestra medicina, nuestra planta, y muchos de los pueblos originarios de aquella época dejaron de utilizar la medicina para sus peregrinaciones. Pero afortunadamente nosotros como pueblo Wixárika somos de los pocos pueblos que no nos dejamos conquistar, junto con los rarámuris, los coras, que actualmente pues estamos defendiendo lo que es la medicina, la planta, y estamos luchando desde la parte legal para que el gobierno mexicano, para que las leyes internacionales, las leyes internas, pues puedan proteger y podamos seguir nosotros conservando y haciendo los rituales como corresponde desde un inicio, como nos lo mandatan nuestros ancestros.
Since those times of the conquest, a lot of different tribes lost their ways with the medicine, with the peyote, But us as the Wixárika nation, we stood strong, and we preserved our way with it, also with the Kora people and the Raramuri people. And together we are working now pues, to change laws, and so we can practice it and preserve it in a good way.
Quiero hacer hincapié de que para nosotros es pues un tanto prohibido lucrar con la planta porque nuestros abuelos nos han dicho que es únicamente para la ceremonia, para comunicarnos con nuestros ancestros, para un poco buscar la paz, no solo del pueblo Wixárika, sino que haya pues una paz equilibrado en el mundo. Para nosotros los rezos van encaminados a que pues tengamos suficiente lluvia, tengamos suficiente alimentación, buena cosecha, que nuestras familias no estén enfermos, cosas positivas, y para ello anualmente estamos rezando para el mundo entero.
I want to make it real clear that for my culture is we don't want to make money out of the medicine, and it's something that our elders always told that is done to help the people, and always our prayers are guided on the way for that it benefits all humanity. We pray for rain for everybody, we pray for a good harvest, we pray for health for our families, for positive things. So that's how we use the medicine.
Para poder acceder a la ceremonia, pues es una preparación muy profunda, desde el ayuno, dejar un poco el agua, no tener contacto con la pareja, hacer rezo, limpiar todo el cuerpo, todo el espíritu, para poder trascender pues al consumo, ¿no? del peyote, de la medicina, para que pues te pueda revelar, te pueda enseñar el camino que uno busca y poder apoyar a los demás que lo ocupan, ¿no?
To eat this plant is we have to do a lot of preparation. We have to fast for months. We have to not drink alcohol. We cannot be with our wives. We cannot eat salt sometimes. So all of these diets are made for us so we can be in preparation, so we can have a good healing and a good positive outcome from the medicine.
Hasta 1992, hacia acá, hasta la fecha, el gobierno mexicano ha intentado un poco poner en la ley lo que es la cultura de los pueblos originarios de México. Cabe resaltar que el pueblo Wixárika es uno de los pueblos que mejor conserva pues, sus rituales, sus tradiciones, las peregrinaciones, la vestimenta, los cantos, la música, entre muchas cosas que nos identifican. Entonces, por ello que nosotros estamos levantando la mano para que en las reformas que están sucediendo actualmente, pues ya sea un derecho para nosotros no estarnos escondiendo del gobierno para hacer nuestras ceremonias, sino que sea algo que se pueda hacer conforme a las leyes mexicanas y que seamos respetados y seguir pues manteniendo nuestra esencia como pueblo Wixárika.
For us right now, we are working together to change the reforms and the law, so we don't have to be hiding anymore to practice our ceremony, so we can carry our medicine. My nation is really well known because we still have a really strict protocols where tribal laws. You need to practice a certain way of life. If not, you are not allowed in the territory. Or you have to dress a certain kind of way or preserve certain customs. So that's why we're raising our voice right now. So it becomes easier for us be us on a legal level in Mexico.
Y hay una gran preocupación, en este caso, de mi parte como autoridad, porque en el área natural protegido de Wirikuta, en San Luis Potosí, están ya la explotación minera que afecta a los mantos acuíferos, que afecta al peyote. También últimamente han estado dando permiso para las tomateras, los chileros. Son espacios muy grandes que están pues tirando pues todo el peyote, y ya esas áreas pues ya no se van a recuperar. Y para nosotros es importante estar aquí porque desde hace más de 5 años todo el equipo que estamos aquí estamos trabajando un proyecto de conservación y preservación de un área donde se pueda conservar el jicuri para las nuevas generaciones. A mí me gustaría que mis hijos, mis nietos siguieran el camino de mis abuelos y el camino que estoy siguiendo, pues que tuvieran esa oportunidad de realizar sus ceremonias, de curarse con la medicina y pues que se sientan orgullosos de lo que son como Wixárika.
I want to say that since some years back, since 2010 around, there's been a lot of troubles with Wirikuta, the place where the medicine grows. And first they sold it to mining companies, then they start bringing agro industry there, mostly tomato and chile plantations. And pues it's devastating the land. They just bulldoze the land, take away a lot of the hikuri, of the peyote. So us now for 5 years, we've been working here as a team to preserve and save as much peyote land as we can in that area. With a regenerative plan, management plan, so the medicine can stay protected. Because I want to see my kids, I want to see my grandkids, I want to see my great-grandkids pick up the medicine still.
Y últimamente, pues nos hemos enterado que las farmacias, las grandes farmacias de Latinoamérica, de México, pues se están volteando hacia la medicina de nosotros, hacia el peyote, posiblemente para hacer investigaciones, realizar pastillas para uso farmacéutica, y eso a nosotros nos preocupa porque ya a un mediano, corto plazo, pues quizás se va a privatizar y nosotros ya no vamos a tener la oportunidad de acceder a nuestras peregrinaciones. Y eso sí, para nosotros, si se acaba las peregrinaciones, si se acaba el jicuri, pues simplemente se acaba el pueblo Wixárika como tal. Ya no tendría modo de que seamos un pueblo Wixárika porque esa es la base de nuestra existencia.
Since some time ago, some years ago, I've been hearing more than pharmaceutical companies also want to touch the medicine, and they want to extract the compounds from it or do research about it. And for us, this is very dangerous because for us, it's not even legal to do research about it. So why are they going to go first than us? We've been waiting in line since the conquest, no? That's a long time. So also for us, it's really important to think about the market that is going to create, because also there's always a black market about it too, no? And also for us, it's really important the area where it grows, and that these markets don't extract from there. Because if they do and start doing that, then where are we gonna pilgrim? Where is my Wixárika culture gonna end? That's the end of my nation right there, and of our way of life.
Entonces, desde aquí, desde esta universidad, pues los invitamos para que nos apoyen a llevar este mensaje que traemos a sus lugares de origen, a sus amigos, si algunos son maestros, a sus alumnos, pues que eso es lo que está pasando en México, y pues junto pues podemos rezar, junto podemos defender lo que nos identifica como pueblos, en este caso el pueblo Wixárika, de México, el cual yo me siento orgulloso y quisiera que durara muchos años más.
And that's why we want to give thank you to the university and everybody that is present here, because we want to work together. We want to find out how to preserve this culture together, the Wixárika culture. That is the one I can share with you, and I feel very proud to be a Wixárika, and I want this culture to continue for many years.
Good afternoon. I don't know if you can hear me or. Can you all hear me okay? Yes. Oh, okay. All right. I guess I don't have to yell. Anyway, this medicine ways is really wonderful, you know, amongst my people, and it's kind of like worldwide also, and the medicine, it comes in a different form, and but before I start, you know, I want to say, tell you a little story, you know, and there's this one lady, you know, she always goes to this medicine man, you know, and she has all kinds of dreams every once in a while, and she would go to this medicine man and ask this medicine man to diagnose her dream. So there's this one morning she came to the medicine man again, and she was saying, I've been dreaming about two tents all the time, you know, two tents, and or two teepees. She said, yeah, I dream about two teepees. I just don't know what it is, and can you tell me what my dream is about? And the medicine man said, well, you're two tents. He said, anyway, it's kind of hard, you know, to just talk about something and just like start in the middle, like, you know, anyway, this about this. Let me introduce myself a little bit first. You know, I'm of the on my mother's side, I'm the Tall House clan of the Navajo tribe, and on my father's side is Bear clan. And then my grandfather on my mother's side is Bitterwater clan, and my grandfather on my father's side is Cherokee Apache. And they were medicine people, and my parents, my mom and my dad, they never knew one another, you know. And but the medicine people, they knew one another, and they brought their children together, which was my mom and my dad. And that's where I come from, and they had 9 children. And so my dad was a medicine man, and I kind of grew up around the medicine people most of my life. And through that, you know, I was honored to carry a medicine bundle, and that's what I carry, and been studying the traditional Navajo cultural medicine ways of life, you know, so but in the meantime, when I was younger, as I was growing up, you know, I went to boarding schools, different places, away from home, and I just spent maybe 3 months out of the year, you know, with my family, my parents. So I didn't really learn a whole lot about the traditional belief systems or the cultural way of life. And so right now, you know, after I got older, then I got interested in learning more about the customs and tradition of my people. And through that, then through this medicine bundle that I take care of, then the tribe has, my people, the Navajo tribe, has honored me to be the caretaker of the warrior staff of the tribe. There's a warrior staff and there's a peaceful staff, you know. And so one of my cousin brother takes care of the peaceful staff, and then I take care of the warrior staff of my people. And then how we came across this peyote way of life, you know, peyote belief. And the way I was told was that it was originally called peyote religion, but 1918, the federal government was trying to take away the medicine, the practice of peyote religion from the native people. So then they went to court over it many times, and the native people decided that, well, it's like a church. We pray there, and then we have a certain belief system, the cultural belief, and that we follow. So then they decided to add a church, and they call it Native American Church. So through that, then it was it represented as a part of religion. So in the United States, we have a freedom of religion. So then it passed under there, so that it was okay for the native people to pray with this peyote. And so through that story, then the traditional, how they came across it and all that, my elders were telling me that they're Mescalero Apaches who encountered an enemy warrior. So they had a confrontation somewhere in Texas, and in a way, one of the daughters, she got lost, you know, and she was out there in the wilderness for 2 or 3 months, wandering about. She didn't have no tools or nothing to find food and gather food, and it was kind of like way out in the middle of nowhere in the desert. There's no water. So then, consequently, her parents were medicine people, so they were praying for her and talking to the spirits, you know, in her behalf. And there's a spirit that came to this young lady. She was pretty young, maybe in her teens in those days, you know. And the spirit talked to her and told her to take this plant, you know, which was a peyote. Consequently, you know, and that it was going to help her. It's going to help her find her people and help her survive and everything. So she went along, you know, and even though she kind of hesitated a little bit, you know, but she went ahead and ate that medicine, which was a peyote. And sure enough, you know, it helped her revive her thirst, hunger, everything, and then she was able to find her relatives, her people, you know. And then the medicine told her, you know, that that medicine could be her medicine to help people, to doctor people, and help pray for people and make people well and everything. So she did that most of her life, you know, and she got real old, maybe in her 90s, when she finally decided to give it to her brother. And honor her brother with the way that she took care of the medicine and helped people with. So she passed it on to her brother. And then it's kind of like during the government moved a lot of, the federal government moved a lot of tribes to Oklahoma. And so in Oklahoma, there are a lot of different tribes. They used to be enemies, but since they're neighbors, then they start to get along. And then through that, you know, the use of that peyote came to all the different tribes, you know, and they start using that and to pray with, and through that, then in early 1920s, it came to my people, the Navajo people. And so it's been amongst my people that long, and we started using the medicine. And in there, it has a spiritual power. And the traditional, there's a short creation story that I want to tell you about, you know, about my people. And this is like when the Creator was going to create this whole universe, he said he went to the spirit world, got a handful of spirits and blew on them and gave them identities, which became our whole universe. And in there, then each one that he created has a certain, that spirit from the spirit world is in each one of these that he created. Our environment, everything, the earth, the sky, the thunderclouds, the stars, the moon, the sun, and us. So my people, when they make an offering, maybe by plant or tree or something, then they're talking to that spirit that came from the same world, trying to make connection with that spirit, so that maybe there was a certain relationship they have. But amongst my people, we have a mother. The earth is our mother, our father, the sky. The sun is our mother, the moon is the sun is our father, the moon is our mother, and the stars are our brothers and sisters, like that, you know, different relationships. And they're talking about all of the spirits that came from the same world. So when they're making the prayers, they're making connection with these spiritual guardians. And that's what's in that peyote, too. So when they're making the prayer with the peyote, then they're making connection with the spirit that's in that peyote. And it's a real powerful, the medicine itself has a knowledge of its own. It has powerful healing power. And in the old days, my grandfather, I was going to Vietnam, and he said, I'm going to talk to this medicine, this peyote for you. So it's going to follow you wherever you go, because you're going to be using this medicine and praying with this medicine, and it's going to protect you, it's going to watch over you. When you're in a combat environment over there, if you need help, just say, help me. And it's going to be right there to help you. He said to me, you know, and then I didn't really believe that, you know, but in Vietnam, you know, we walked into an ambush, and I told my comrades, you know, that this is what my grandfather told me. Maybe we can pray and say, help me, you know. So that's what we did, and just within a few minutes, you know, we received help. And that wasn't the only time. It happened several other times, you know. And so that really made a believer out of me, what my grandpa was telling me. So today I still believe that, and I still use the medicine, and I take really good care of it, talk to it real, and honor it all the time, you know. And it's something wonderful, and that's what I say to my children, and my children grew up using the medicine. They're doing really good today, you know, and then my grandchildren, same way. So, and then when some of my relatives, my children, when they were going to have a child, you know, my daughters, you know, they're going to have a child, I gave them medicine, the peyote, you know, and it helped them give birth, you know, and they didn't feel a lot of pain. Maybe they felt some, but not as much as they could have. And the medicine's already in the baby when they was born, you know, and they were born really healthy. So I'm really grateful towards the medicine for that, you know, and it's a really wonderful medicine, you know, and that's what I tell my son here, you know. He's my adopted son, but I love him as my own son, you know, and he believed what I was saying, telling him about the medicine, and he started using that medicine, and he's been following it, and he's doing real well with it, you know, has a good family life, a good home, got his own property, own business and everything, doing really good, you know, and so that's proof enough to me that the medicine is really wonderful. And the only thing that we're concerned about is how to protect that, how to preserve that, so that our children, great-grandchildren, so many years down the road, you know, they could still have it, be able to use it. And then there's a pharmaceutical company who's trying to get in there to make it into a synthetic medicine, make it into a pill. But like I was saying, my dad was a medicine man, you know. He was telling me, he's gathering different herbs, you know. He said, that herb right there is just a piece of herb, you know. Animals can eat it. It's just a regular plant. But when you go make an offering to it, make a prayer to it, then it comes to life, becomes a medicine. And it can heal anybody, he said. So that's the way we gather this peyote when we go to the peyote gardens, when we're going to cut it, make an offering to it, talk to it first, and tell it why we're going to do that, why we wanted to gather the medicine and everything, and then we gather from there. Then it becomes a medicine. Then we can take it home and use it as a healing medicine. But if the pharmaceutical company go in there and just cut it without making an offering or anything, I don't think it's going to have the same type of healing power that it would have, you know. And then just like anything else, you know, they're gonna take over everything, you know, and won't be able to. The native people won't be able to get in here, you know, and buy all the piece of land, and they're going to take control of everything. And so the native people who've been using it for many years, they can't be able to gather peyote anymore. So that's my only concern, and I'm really grateful, you know, to come way over here to talk about that, and the concern that we have, and the preservation that we need help with, and talk to other people who have interest in this herbal medicine that's in this whole world. There's a way to preserve that, to have, so that we can continue to have it in a future days to come. So I'm just really grateful to be here, and to be able to say a few words about it, you know, and there's probably more I could say, you know, but this much I'm gonna say because of the time limit and everything. Thank you so much. And,
Thank you very much. Thank you. So one of the questions that I have for both of you is that given that peyote is a slow-growing plant, takes 10 to 15 years to mature, some activists believe that it has to be kept exclusively for the indigenous peoples. What's your view on that, Jake?
if it's going to be, well, it's going to be hard, difficult to do because there's all kinds of things that goes on. People building homes and the population is growing all the time, and then building roads and highways and livestock and everything, you know. So that's growing, and they're all in the same environment where the peyote grows.
And Alfredo, what do you think? Do you think that it should be just kept for indigenous
Que
peoples?
por la demanda que hay de jicuri, que si tú piensas que se debería quedar solo para los pueblos indígenas. O sea,
existe, pues sí, una gran preocupación por parte del pueblo Wixárika, de los centros ceremoniales. Yo le comentaba aquí a varios amigos que mi primera peregrinación a Wirikuta fue hace 18 años aproximadamente, y la ceremonia de la cacería lo hicimos a 500, 600 metros de donde está el centro, de Tamachcoyumari. Y hace poco que aquí me acompañaron los amigos y los demás abuelos y las familias que fuimos en el mes de marzo, pues ellos mismos vieron cuánto caminamos. Creo que son más de 4 kilómetros para poder encontrar la medicina, el hikuri. Y eso es lo que nos está preocupando mucho, porque entre más pasa el tiempo hay una depredación importante del peyote, de gente que desconoce realmente para qué es y cómo se tiene que hacer la preparación para tener el derecho de consumir.
so, I was sharing yesterday that my first pilgrimage was 18 years ago, and from the sacred site where we leave our offerings to harvest medicine, we used to walk 500 meters and start finding it. Now we have to walk 5 kilometers or 4 kilometers forward, no, to start finding it. So I think there's a lot of deprivation and overconsume that is hard to deal with. ¿Y se debería quedar para los pueblos o no?
Sí.
Sí.
Sí, precisamente yo hablaba de la legislación mexicana, de que tiene que decir en la ley mexicana de que se tiene que priorizar la conservación y el uso para los pueblos originarios de México.
And first it needs to be prioritized by the law that the use is by the First Nations before anyone, because we haven't even done that yet.
And can you tell us more about what your project is involved with? You have done some incredible work in terms of preservation.
Sí. We'll let Matthew answer that one.
Matthew?
Yeah.
But before I talk, do you want to say something about the question she asked?
The medicine is the gift from the Creator to the humans, you know, and it's there for the humans. But a lot of things, there's a spiritual side and then there's a human side. So the spiritual side is constant, doesn't change, it stays the same all the time. But the human, us, we like to change everything around and do everything in a reverse way, and that's what makes it difficult for anybody to use this medicine. So it's there for anybody, but then can this human take really good care of it? That's the question, and that's the hardest part.
Thank you. So Matthew, will you tell us a bit more about what the project is doing?
Sure. Thank you. And we've done a lot, with this Wirikuta preservation project here, along with the Wixárika and then indigenous in the north. And then we have a team that's international too. There's a lot of us, that are working together. And through the help of all different donors, some privatized, some grants, we were able to save 243 hectares of land, which is about 640-something acres of land. And we're able to give it back to the Wixárika Nation. Because as Alfredo was saying, our whole group also believes, myself, I'm non-native, but I also believe we're all indigenous to the earth. But relative to the Peyote in general, it needs to be the First Nations that have the voice on how it's regulated, on how it's shared between their communities first, so that their children, their grandchildren can have it, is the most important, because it's their whole way of life. For any of us, we're just adopting it to utilize it for healing, to understand it, to help our families. Like my dad was saying, how it was for my own family. And the story of giving medicine to his daughter is also my wife, is also my daughter. But we learned it from them. So their voices matter to us, at least, first, how they want to preserve it. That way we can continue to grow this project. From with the project, besides preserving the land, that really only solves one issue. It solves the mining companies, it solves the agro industries from destroying the land itself, but also ecotourism, overconsumption of the medicine, not only from non-indigenous, also from indigenous. They're not following their ceremonial structure because they can make money off of it too, and then in turn it's over-harvested as well. So then we talk about it, we listen to what the elders say, how do we solve the problem? Now we're in a time where we have to plant it and give it back to nature itself. So that's also part of our project as well, is to reforest and regenerate the soil and the land of Wirikuta, to give back just to the land in general. Through giving back to the land in general, then the nations like the Wixárika and other nations that make the right offerings will have the opportunity to continually do that. So that's part of our project. To go along with it, as well as Alfredo was expressing, then the white-tailed deer is a major part of their culture. It's kind of also the heart of it, and along with the corn. So bringing back the white-tailed deer to those regions, because they're also overhunted, and then they also, because of the cartel, because of borders, because of all these things, then they don't have the ability to hunt the deer like they used to. It's also dangerous in a way. So along with other of our teammates, Emilios and different people, started to develop a plan to regenerate the deer population, also just the natural flora and fauna, but specifically the deer for the Wixárika Nation is also part of the project. So we're working with a large team. We're working with different biologists, creating land management projects and programs, and trying to understand it ourselves on how we can do it without interrupting their own ceremonial structure as well. Because if we just only plant the medicine and then now they're harvesting it from the greenhouse, we can't do that either. We have to give it back to nature. And at the same time, then we can't shoot the deer from just a pen. We have to give it back to nature. So all of these subjects are super sensitive, and we go along with just what the elders said. We're just respecting their own dreams, their own visions with it, and trying to find a way to collaborate worldwide from the different scientific mindsets on how to do this properly as well, and as well as donors, but following the steps of our elders first. So that's in a really general way to describe the project. And by doing that, then we started to realize all these other issues with the pharmaceutical companies. And like they were saying, a black market could be created. And if this black market is created, then there'll be no more Wirikuta. And then it'll be turned only into a drug. Because as they were kind of getting at, peyote, none of us believe it as a drug. And with other different plant medicines, depends who you talk to. Some only look at it in a scientific mindset. Some people only want to use it to get high. Some people just want to have an experience. But as you can see from these cultures, then it's not that way. No, it's a whole way of life. So it's super important that we listen to what they say so that it can be preserved properly, you know, and then we can grow it to continually allow it to be there for the future generations.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I want to add to that, that also throughout the project, we have found all the mistreatment from governments to the First Nations, and also the lack of human rights even, of them even carrying their medicine or even practicing their way of life, no? For us, it's really important that they get respected too. That's why we're here as traditional doctors. Because why is a doctor gonna prescribe now these pills, and a medicine man, a roadman, cannot carry his medicine and help the relatives? So that's not fair. Me personally, I have taken out a lot of them out of jail. Like I have gone to court and everything from carrying peyote. When they can, it's legal for them to carry in the territory, but in Mexico, as different from the States, they don't have a tribal ID. So they don't have anything that identifies them, no? So first we need to vindicate, I don't know if that's the right word in English, ourselves with them, like before we take away the plants, no? It's like, for example, now there's doctors prescribing mushrooms or whatever, but nobody knows if there's Mazatecs from Mexico that practice the mushroom tradition in jail, no? Why there need a history class? Like so that's what my bro is trying to say. It needs to be an order here, no? And that's what we have found out with this project, that we need to do things in order and always with the blessings of the elders and of the nations too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How can other allies and institutions help?
In lots of ways, you know, like I was saying, we're working with some biologists already, mm-hmm. and we're always looking for anyone to volunteer, but to really get involved, you know, to really want to understand it, to see all the steps like Santi was just saying. So reaching out to us is a great way, first, to see where we're at and what kind of skill sets could be there. We have volunteers in all kinds of ways, just from going to the land to work in general, with maybe they just want to be involved and go to the land and get their hands in there, all the way from fundraising and helping us with the management plan. And then just spreading the word in general is super important for us, because everything that we were expressing from the project, but then just in general respecting the medicine in general is a good way to even get involved and to maybe change the mindset to not look at it like a drug too. Even alone, just that is good. But if you want to go further than that, you can reach out to us. Come talk to us. The Wixárika always invite the people to come there to the land. If you want to know the medicine, go with the medicine man for real. Go there, make an offering, and get your hands in there. But maybe don't just go there to just harvest medicine and eat it. Maybe go there to help, you know, to help put up the greenhouses, to dig the holes, to put up the fence. All these things that we're doing in our everyday life, you know, is a good way to get involved. You know. And from here, then there's a little booth over here that we have, and we have more about how to get involved, and emails and websites and all of our contact information, and then anyone can reach out to us.
Thank you. So I'm going to open the floor for any questions.
Thank you. Sorry, it's just for the gentleman. Can you? I think I understood that you took peyote while working in an ambush in Vietnam. Is that right?
He's talking to you, she said. They used
when you were talking about the
when
ambush.
you were ambushed in Vietnam.
I mean,
No, we didn't. It's just my belief in the medicine.
okay.
I didn't have the medicine, or because I didn't have no place to put it, you know.
Fair enough. Oh well, I was.
Yeah.
One last, if I can. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty doubtful about the whole pharmaceutical getting involved into psychedelics, obviously, like many of us here. But at the same time, I'm thinking, can it not be like a Trojan horse in order to let people like my parents, no, getting a little bit closer to the idea? All these analogs they can make, like there's also analogs of mescaline and stuff like that. Do you understand?
So for us, I'm from Mexico, man, and for us, I have heard pharmaceutical companies. Yeah, there's an argument always saying that yeah, we can grow our own medicine or we can synthesize it from even things that is not peyote. But I'm gonna tell you this as a Mexican that lives in a drug cartel-infested country. Okay, I seen they always say we're gonna control these substances. We're gonna have them under control. But I never seen the mafia care about that. No? So they sell all the painkillers, they sell all the fentanyl that started to help cancer patients, now it's on the black market, and many other drugs like that. We can start even with, so they're gonna synthesize it from wherever they find it, and we have the biggest peyote reserve in Mexico. So by doing that, they're putting in jeopardy all the wild medicine. They say the road to hell is made of good intentions. Maybe they have a good intention, but it's not gonna take us there. Because I never seen the government efficiently control any substance. And I tell it as a Mexican that I seen what's in the black market. And the violence that causes in the area is something that nobody knows here. Yeah.
And this is probably the tool for that part of the world, the capitalistic, modern, and their tool is ISD.
Yeah, but when you cannot, hey, either way, when LSD or anything cannot be accessed by a prescription, who delivers it to them? The mob and the cartel. See, so, but you need to be aware. Because, like, for example, coca, it started as a sacred plant for the natives. Or we can talk from tobacco even. Mm-hmm. How plants have a karma and they're going to flip it on us. Until they have a consciousness. And then you cannot just play with that and we're going to use it. No, they kick back at us. They say every time you sniff one line, it's 8 people up your nose. But here in a party in Europe, nobody cares because you don't have roadblocks to get to your grandma's house. See? Oh, you're aware of it, but it's not really like, okay, we need to stop. See? It's a big discussion. I think we should just leave nature alone.
Any more questions?
Hi, firstly, thank you so much for being here. I think it's kind of following on from that point. I think there's many people here at Breaking Convention, probably in this room, that have participated in peyote ceremonies, either in Mexico or in the UK. Mm-hmm. I am one of those people, and now I feel like maybe that was an irresponsible thing for me to do. Mm-hmm. Is there a responsibility from people like us that maybe want to go to a ceremony? Should we participate, basically, is my question.
Ella pregunta de la gente que ha hecho ceremonias aquí en Europa, que se sienta algo irresponsable, que cómo pueden acercarse a la cultura para conocer las ceremonias y así.
Para nosotros es importante informar a todos ustedes que mientras se haga una ceremonia con un fin para dar a conocer lo que somos como pueblo, y si a veces se puede recabar algún fondo, pero para un proyecto comunitario, no para un proyecto personal, está muy bien, porque mucha gente lo hace a escondidas de la comunidad y eso ya no se vale. Nosotros siempre hemos trabajado por el bien de todos los demás, entonces pues con el respeto que se merece, yo creo que sí es válido afuera para dar a conocer este tipo de ceremonias, para pues que la gente nos conozca y así podemos fortalecer esta relación entre el mundo occidental y el mundo Wixárika.
For me, the only way that it can be done is that it has to be approved by the whole tribe, because a lot of, even my people, they go behind the tribe and they don't tell us about the ceremony, and they go and make money or certain things, and nothing goes back to the tribe. So pues that's something that when they organize something here in another country, pues they need to be aware of, no? But I agree if it's approved by the tribe and with a good permission from all our elders, pues, to share with the relatives so we can bridge traditions, yes, I agree. Que cómo ellos se pueden enterar si tienen permiso de la colonia.
Estamos trabajando para certificar a los maracate y a los representantes comunales, comunitarios, donde el gobernador tradicional y la autoridad competente les vamos a dar unas cartas para que no sean chantajistas, que no se vengan a aprovechar de la gente, sino que sea gente calificada, que haya apoyado en su comunidad y que tenga el respaldo total.
So we're working internally right now with the tribal authorities so we can legitimize our doctors and our medicine man, and that way they will have a letter to present where they go and show the people that they have the backup of the tribe, because nowadays even people that are not medicine man or anything, they can just come here and pretend to do whatever.
Or two. So yeah, I would like to just testify how powerful peyote really is. I've been in Mexico for the last 25 years, and it was only 18 months ago that I met a chap in Oaxaca, an elderly man, and he gave me peyote, and it transformed, it saved my life. I was suffering with deep sadness, and those tears of sadness became tears of joy, and there's some magic in it, because I didn't go with the intention of looking for the plant found me, and I didn't know about ritual, I didn't know about ceremony, I didn't know about the indigenous way of life, even though I'd been in Mexico for like 25 years, going backwards and forwards. And yeah, I can feel the tears of joy right now. I won't do a full-on cry for you. I don't want to freak people out. But yeah, it's really magical and it's really changed my life. And I know that Nahuatl for peyote means to glisten, or it means cocoon. And it feels like a real transformation inside, to go from deep sadness to deep joy. And I really pay my respects to the plant and the medicine, and also my teacher Gabino in Oaxaca, and to you guys as well. Thanks.
No, nomás quería decir gracias. Good one.
I'm wondering if for you the work with Peyote is different from the work with San Pedro, and if yes, in what way?
So none of us work with San Pedro, bro, so we couldn't really tell you. I know that San Pedro, what I know is that there's not really like a straight lineage now. It was lost the last ones are in Chavín in Peru, but all I can tell you is that from the northern relations that I have from Mexico all the way to Canada, pues peyote is a wonderful way of life, and we have different ceremonies with different altars, but they are all similar with the fire, the water, the air, and the earth, and the corn, and pues the medicine the tobacco too. Sí.
Hi, I had a question regarding bringing psychedelics into our Western world and Europe in particular. Do you have any recommendations for how we can do this in a responsible manner with regards to creating cultural containers? Because obviously we don't want to do cultural appropriation of your ways, but you are the original knowledge keepers, and maybe you could, share some guidance for us on how we do this the best way possible.
Okay. Que cómo pueden ellos apoyar para no hacer apropiación cultural y al mismo tiempo pues, aprender de estas formas.
Bueno, el grupo que estamos aquí es un equipo conformado legalmente. Nosotros en la comunidad de San Andrés hacemos asambleas cada 3 meses. Tenemos que informar de este viaje que hicimos a Inglaterra el 17-18 de mayo, cómo nos fue en la conferencia, los amigos, cómo ven el proyecto y cuántos amigos están interesados en apoyar el proyecto de Wirikuta y qué sigue para la meta al año que viene. Pueden confiar en nosotros, cualquier información, cualquier invitación que quieran hacer, es legal nuestra presencia, la gente allá, los abuelos, todo está aprobado y entonces pues estamos aquí para dar a conocer un poco y sobre todo buscar aliados, ¿no?
Mm-hmm. So us here, as a group, we're legally integrated with and approved by the tribal council back home. They know we are here. Also, I have a relative here from the north, and he's a representative of his tribe. So the best way is to get close to any of us, and always what he's saying basically is get close to the elders, get close to the tribal council, respect that nations. No, you can email them. Most tribes in the planet have a place you can contact them, or you can look in Google Maps where they are, and they have a tribal office. So that's what he's saying, basically, like here's some representatives, you can talk to them, and that way we can grow in a relationship. We're always looking for allies and we're ways to co-create together. Yeah.
As a fellow keeper of the medicine, I want to say thank you for being a guardian of the medicine. And I want to speak security and protection over you from the 7 directions and over your land. And I want to say thank you to all sacred medicine because it is truly a healer for humanity. I want to ask 2 things. First, I want to acknowledge and say thank you for putting your life at risk for, in the 3D world, protecting this land and protecting this sacred medicine. And I also want to thank the guardians in the other realms for protecting your land. And I speak protection over your land always and for eternity and to the end of time. But my question is, how can we, as people who are sitting in the European land, be allies and protectors and guardians of your land, not only for this sacred medicine, but for all sacred medicines?
Respecto a lo que dice la compañera, nosotros somos jicareros por 5 años en el centro ceremonial, donde tenemos que ser guardianes precisamente de la jícara, del peyote, del venado, del maíz, y no percibimos ningún pago, todo es para el bien de la humanidad, y eso cuesta para las familias, pero es un sacrificio que hacemos para el mundo, para que haya paz, para que haya beneficio. Y entonces, para eso es un orgullo para nosotros. También, por proteger el peyote, como líderes, estamos en riesgo por la autoridad, porque la autoridad da permiso para la minería, para los tomates, para los chiles, y eso no le gusta que nosotros estemos haciendo esa lucha. También para los grupos criminales no les gusta que nosotros estemos defendiendo nuestros territorios porque ellos quieren nuestros bosques, quieren nuestras aguas, quieren nuestras tierras. Entonces es mucho compromiso y es un riesgo, pero lo hacemos con mucha responsabilidad.
I want to say that for us as tribal authorities and bundle carriers, we don't do this, we don't carry these bundles getting paid. We do it, we carry this medicine and we carry our way with it because of the joy we have for humanity, the joy we have for life. And we do it from there. So we put a lot of at risk because the government, first of all, is the one that sold everything to the mining companies. So we get a lot of threats from there. We get a lot of threats from the agro industry too, and now with the criminal groups too, with the cartels, because they're the ones that want our water, they want our forests, they want our resources. So saying that is the best way you can help is, like they said before, get close to the tribes. If you want to help a certain region in the planet, all the planet, the First Nations are the ones taking care of the wilderness. So you can go and just go help with their tribal authorities. Yeah.
Any more questions?
Thank you. I'm Mexican. I asked a question earlier on the first day to some people who were talking about ayahuasca and the spirit plant, and I can understand now that, your views on the synthetic components of peyote, you might not be aligned or agree with that. I think that depending on the substance, there's a debate about going synthetic because that will be the only way. As far as I know, ayahuasca now is not wild, it's all harvest. So each substance or each component might be looking to different ways. At practical level, I think that it is interesting that you mentioned that in the States, the peyote is a church of peyote. As a Mexican, I wonder if there is a similar route to protect the beliefs, the system, and the area that could be even stronger, because I know that Mexican authorities, they don't even care, and it's very difficult to fight when you have agro industry targeting the area. And a little bit of how can a Mexican living in Europe, I want to help, but I think that we need to be very practical in legal terms, no? And protect the land through some structure that helps them secure the religion or the beliefs of the system. Is there any initiative around that?
Yeah.
In Mexico particularly? Because
so in Mexico particularly, that's what we are doing already. That's what he said. We already saved around 600 acres of land. We have put it on tribal name. We have made a management plan. We're also working with the universities of Mexico to legislate new laws, because right now, like we said before, nobody can do research on the plant. That's illegal because it's a Schedule 1 drug. So we need to change it from Schedule 1 to another level. But we want to always protect the intellectual property of this plant, even if it's, or any of its compounds, it's for the First Nations. Because we don't want to see also how different pharmaceutical companies sell between them files, doing research in different parts of how it works in different parts. So we want to protect the intellectual property, and we're already saving land. There's a bank account in a practical level right now, plus donate, because we already have a team of lawyers, a team of biologists, the team of the elders, and is already going the project. And you can come always and do volunteer work for free, and see where that investment is going. everything is pretty transparent. We're also a non-profit in the United States, so we can be tax deductible for anyone, too. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lady up.
Hi. You mentioned the Category 1 status, peyote in America. I know it's different between Mexico and the States, but are there any projects or organizations that are working towards raising that category? Because I think it's singly the most powerful thing we could do is to make it illegal to build all the tomato foundations, the mining, without inviting indigenous or environmentalists to remove the cacti and replant it. The latest figures I heard were about 5-6 years old, and they attribute about 40 to 60% of the loss of the cacti, particularly the older ones, to agricultural and mining problems. So I feel like that moving it up the category so that by law they have to remove it and replant it first before they can expand. I was wondering if there are any organizations working on that, that we then have a legal way to protect it. And my second question was around the Native American Church and its official statements to not be involved in this new Western psychedelic movement that we're creating here. And yeah, whether that still stands and how to respect that, yeah, in a good way.
So, to answer the first question, to say that the only group that I know personally that's doing something similar to what you're mentioning is us. And relative to the way that you described it, we're not moving the peyote from one region to another, right? We believe that the land itself in general just shouldn't be destroyed. So there's concepts of the agricultural companies, whether it's tomatoes or chilies or anything, or the mining companies that are destroying the land, for us is to not even allow that to happen in the first place. To not go there and say, okay, we're gonna go take one by one all the cactuses that are deemed medicines. All of them are medicines in some way or another, not only the peyote. So the land itself shouldn't just be destroyed. We want to protect the earth in general. And to try to come up with a system that then allows the agriculture companies or mining companies in is then a system that is going to be controlled by the government, that's not really going to be followed, that maybe one time they're going to make a news article about it and they get some of the peyote out and then behind our backs they destroy everything else. So the best way is to stand up against it totally, to say that you just can't destroy the land at all, is the way that we believe. And then when we're talking about reforesting, we're talking about growing everything from seed, because the strength of the medicines and everything, in order for it to have the best effect in whatever kind of medicine it is, even from the oils of a flower, you need to grow it from seed and give it back to nature from seed. And just how it is with trying to limit how we control it in general, because we also don't want to control the lives of the plants and put our influence in. But sadly, we're at this point where we have to figure out a system that we can grow it from seed and then give it back to nature, but then allow nature to flourish in its own right, to not be involved so much too, is the part of the way that we believe it. And maybe there's other groups that are talking about doing it, but then again, for us, with the permission of the Union of Ceremonial Centers and then Tunawame of San Andres, their own ceremonial center, we haven't really seen anybody else there. We spend a lot of time there, and there's nobody doing anything, is why we're so passionate about being involved, is why we're going around the world to say, hey, can somebody help us too, you know? And relative to the Native American Church, my dad and myself, I'm a roadman as well, but we can't represent that organization. We're not the presidents of that organization. And for the psychedelic movement, I imagine the way that the reason they're saying that but I could be wrong, is because they don't want it to be looked at as a drug. And in this concepts of psychedelic medicine movements, depending on how the individual will respect it, automatically becomes that this is a drug. It's an experience rather than a way of life. And for sure, us with the Native American church, we say, the church is the way that it was legalized, right? But it's way more than that, no? It's a way of life. So the reason we kind of like disagree with that language in general is because then it becomes, I want to go have a psychedelic trip or experience. And it's probably, I imagine, why they don't go along with it and make an official statement against it as well.
And one last one.
It's a very simple question. Do you ever notice any difference when there's a change of administration either in Mexico or in the US to the way that you're treated and the way that your rights in your land is protected, or is it just a kind of seamless, constant tide of oppression?
Sí, yo tengo desde el 2002 luchando para el reconocimiento y el desarrollo de los pueblos indígenas en Jalisco. Hasta la fecha, casi puras promesas. Esperemos que este año se apruebe la ley para la protección y desarrollo de los pueblos indígenas en Jalisco. Acabo de estar en un foro hace 20 días y tenemos fe de que pues en este sexenio pues ya se apruebe esa ley que está pues dentro de los temas importantes, la educación intercultural, los recursos naturales, lugares sagrados, protección de los recursos naturales y la lengua, los cantos, entre otras cosas. Es una ley muy general, pero tiene también sus particularidades. Entonces, si ya se aprueba esa ley, yo creo que sería un gran paso en México.
I've been working since 2002 on the law for indigenous rights in the state of Jalisco, and until today it's just false promises. I was in a forum 2 weeks ago with the hope that this year it gets finally approved. It's a law to respect our language, our ceremonies, our dances, etc., etc. But hoping this, again, waiting for the promises.
Jake, do you want to answer that question? Whether a change in the administration, change of government changes the treatment of what you do?
In the United States, there can be a lot of changes made because of the area where the peyote grows. It deals with the longitude and the latitude on the continent. And that's the only place where it will grow. When you put it somewhere else, plant it somewhere else, then it won't have the medicinal value that it normally has because it has a different climate, and the way it's going to grow, it would have a different way of growing, and maybe too much water or something.
So does the government, when the government changed, does it change the legal structure of the Native American church?
Through that, then there's like I was saying, that there's the government involved. Then there's we can't change nothing. We can't go with what the government suggests or anything. But as far as the law is concerned, then they don't really understand how they can help protect it, because it's already just without really knowing it, the full effect of the medicine. They say that it has a hallucinogenic value. Then they classify it as a drug. And to the native people, it's a medicine. It's a way to the healing process. properties that it has, you know. So as far as the government is concerned, you know, they don't really know exactly what they're talking about. They just know that it's illegal, and they try to enforce the legal side of it.
I want to add a little bit, Jake, for right now, since Trump got in, because peyote is in a very difficult place. It's in the border, in the United States part. It goes from the border all the way to Mexico City, like a cone, like that. So right now, with all the movement that is being put in that border, pues of course it affects the wild and natural area, no? So yeah, it's kind of difficult now.
Ya se acabó el tiempo. Esa es una foto de la última, bueno, de una de las peregrinaciones que hicimos en Wirikuta. Me gustaría que cuando menos aprendieran una palabra, que es pamparios, thank yous. Pamparios, es thank you. Pamparios, thank you. Los invitamos a visitar nuestra mesa, que está aquí afuera de Arte Wixárika, para que pues conozcan lo que hacemos. Pamparios.
I want to say this is one of the last pictures in one of my last pilgrimage. I want you to learn the word pamparios, that is thank you, and invite you to our table. Pamparios.
Pamparios.